is an Extreme Rules match. Making his way to the ring, weighing in at 500 pounds, Paul Wight. Approaching the ring, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, weighing 234 pounds, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Welcome to Extreme Rules here at WCW. Now, we have the Big Show, also known as Paul Wight, also known as the Giant, versus Bret the Hitman Hart. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And he's going to have to show if he's the best at using weapons. And now Big Show able to counter that figure four leg lock for a little bit against Bret Hart. Bret Hart trying to weaken the legs of Paul Wight as he's trying to take down the big tree that is that Giant. Now, these men are in a qualification match for the hardcore title. This is Extreme Rules. Weapons can be used. No countouts. No disqualification. Nothing like that. And now, some of you may be saying, isn't that Raven's rules? And why isn't Raven in this match? And that is because Raven did so poorly in the Royal Rumble that he didn't deserve a shot. At least that was the thinking behind management. And these two men had very vicious wrestlers and could very well thrive in a hardcore setting. Now, the Giant getting whipped around at a huge move. He could have broken his knee. Bret Hart was trying to put damage on the knee, on the back of Big Show. Could have easily hurt himself with putting all of that weight on himself. Big scoop slam by the Giant. I'm going to be calling him Paul Wight and the Giant and Big Show interchangeably. So I'm sorry for any confusion. Now, these two wrestlers did very well in the Royal Rumble last week. Now, Big Show was actually the runner-up to the Royal Rumble. He was the last one in the match besides Kevin Nash to the winner. Now, that is because Kevin Nash and Paul Wight entered in at number 19 and 20. As we see another figure four leg lock with a huge amount of extension from Bret Hart. But once again, Big Show able to use his weight and power to counter that and put some damage onto Bret Hart as well. Question is, who's taking more damage in those situations? Now Bret Hart eliminated a few people from the match. He was eliminated by Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, the challenger for the WCW World Heavyweight title later tonight. Hulk Hogan eliminated many people in that match. Now Bret Hart eliminated Diamond Dallas Page and Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit we saw in that last excellent match for all four Horsemen in a tag team match. So you see Big Show pushing Bret Hart away. So you see some tying up between the few of them. Nobody's quite gone for a weapon as of yet, but they are fighting on the outside. They don't have to worry about any sort of count out in this match. Oh my God. Look at the pure strength of Bret Hart to throw Big Show like that. Now it looks like Bret Hart's on the hunt for a weapon, and he got a crutch, smashing the head of the Giant, smacking the crutch into that back of his leg. Bret Hart going to want to use a lot of weapons against Big Show here. Try and make that power differential between the two of them not as big, as Big Show has so much more weight behind those punches. Bret Hart was looking for a trash can there, but was not able to get it. As he got a reverse neckbreaker coming in, slamming the back and head of Big Show against that lightly padded concrete. As we see him whip Big Show into the barricade. That barricade actually not moving at all. An absolute surprise, as Giant has so much weight behind him. Now, the winner of this match will be going on to Hardcore Justice to face the other winners of the Hardcore Qualification matches. Looks like Big Show is going to try to put clear the table, smashing the face of Bret Hart against the table now. A huge clothesline by Show. Now Show is able to, oh my God, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. How did he get that momentum? It came out of nowhere by Bret Hart. I guess he was using his own momentum. We had a camera change, so couldn't quite see there. But once again, the winner of this match will go on to Hardcore Justice for a chance at the Hardcore Championship in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Now, in that tables, ladders, and chairs match, there will be one member of each brand represented to give all 6 brands one member in the 6-man match. We have already had 2 qualifications. From Raw, we had Mick Foley, a.k.a. Mankind, and in ECW, we had Mick Foley, a.k.a. Cactus Jack, and that table having a mind of its own as it flies over the announce table. I believe Big Show may have just tossed it aside. And yes, Mick Foley has qualified twice. He will not have a chance to qualify a 3rd time on Raw's War, where he is represented by Dude Love. Dude Love is not in that match. Unfortunately for him, he only has 2 chances at his coveted hardcore title. I'm sure he would like that title more than anything else. It is a inter-brand title, as it will be defended on multiple brands, multiple nights, on most pay-per-views. And we get the Big Show getting whacked into that steel steps. So you get a punch to the gut and a whack to the head. Series of strikes by Big Show. So you get a big move here by Bret Hart, smashing that elbow into the face of Big Show. Now Bret Hart going back into the ring. Not too much weapon usage has gone on yet. Just that crutch, a little bit of table action. A lot of weapon usage has been countered by their opponent and just went to technical wrestling. Now, the Bret the Hitman Hart is an excellent technical wrestler, but he's also a great brawler. He's able to go toe-to-toe with someone as big as a Big Show, and not many people can say they can do that. Now, a series of counters between these 2 wrestlers, and then Bret Hart able to trip up Show, able to get him into those steel steps as he whips Giant into the barricade and whips him across the arena. Big Show able to stop his momentum before he went into the barricade, and a huge clothesline with so much weight behind that, throwing down Bret Hart. Big Show, I believe, looking for a weapon here, but able to get grabbed by Bret Hart before he's able to get something. So he gets whipped into the barricade several times now, repeatedly by Bret Hart. Not quite using weapons, but able to use the arena to his own uses. Tossing him against the barricade so many times. Whipping him against those steel steps. It's unforgiving. steel, and Bret Hart able to run against the barricade instead of into it. But now he's getting whips into the barricade by the Giant. Huge headbutt from that giant head of Paul Wight. Huge tilt-a-whirl backbreaker once again by Bret Hart. You gotta wonder if that's going to be hurting his leg with all that weight slamming into him. You could easily shatter bone with something impact that high. As we see Bret Hart countering into a headlock, slapping the wrist of Bret Hart, countering into a big clothesline. Like once again I've said, not too many weapons, but Big Show now going for that guitar, but Bret Hart countering, tossing him against the barricade once again. They've been fighting in this corner for quite some time now, using the barricade as their primary damage source in this match, whipping each other against that repeatedly. Now, Bret Hart with a headlock, tripping up Show as he puts his knees into him, putting all the weight of himself into that knee, trying to take out Big Show's base of strength, his legs, those giant tree trunks of the Big Show. And Bret Hart now getting whipped into the ring, finally getting out of that corner. Bret Hart getting up before Show is able to make something of it, and Bret Hart trying to trip up Show, but Show just dropping down. Show now getting tossed against that steel pipe, that steel pole of the turnbuckle, and whipped against the barricade once again. Bret the Hitman Hart with so much execution, the excellence of execution, using the arena so well. The giant boot from Big Show to knock Hart into the ring as Big Show goes for a mop here. Bret Hart waiting for him and just grabbing him as he grabs that mop. And now whipping him across the ring. Not able to get that trip up for the steel steps he's probably looking for. But now slamming Show against that barricade once again. These barricades have held up very well against the repeated abuse of Show and Hart. Now Hart being whipped into those steel steps. Finally those steel steps being dislodged. They've hit them several times. They usually hit them head on, but they're so unforgiving. They go right into that steel pole of the turnbuckle. And now Big Show once again getting whipped to that barricade. This corner has gotten a great view of the action. Let's get right up in the action here. Awesome match. And now he gets whipped in this corner here. And it looks like the barricade might just fall. Yes, a huge spear by Bret Hart. Finally taking down that barricade. It's more like he wanted to put damage on that barricade more than show how often he's been tossing the Giant into that barricade. Now whipping Big Show into that steel steps that he also trips over. Both the Giant and Hart knocked out on the bottom of this arena. Now there's no double knockout here either, or knockouts in general in this match. So if both of them pass out, we might be staying here for a while. Bret Hart trying to injure that leg a little bit more. He's put so much damage onto the back and the legs of the Giant. And Show slamming and tossing Bret Hart over the top of that barricade and taunting to the crowd as Bret Hart makes his way back into the arena. He slams Bret Hart into that other corner, and now they might end up in this corner for a little while. But Bret Hart trying to shy away. Now Giant says, "You get in that corner. We're going to fight over here now." Bret Hart pushing away, and a huge bulldog pulling down all that weight with such a momentum. Bret Hart looking for what he wants to do. He gets tripped over those unforgiving steel steps. It's got to hurt your shin wherever you contact those steel steps. He gets tossed into this barricade. And now Big Show tossing him across those steel steps, injuring the leg, injuring the back with a huge spear through the barricade. This barricade broken now with all that weight of Show and Hart going right through that barricade. Now Show looking to have the advantage now. Bret Hart had the advantage a few moments ago, when all the momentum was on his side. Bret Hart tripping over those steel steps as Show looks to get a new weapon. And he's getting I believe a kendo stick from underneath the ring. Yes, he is. As now Big Show looks to put the hurt on the head of Hart. Some alliteration there for you. As now he smacks that kendo stick into the back of Hart. As he whips Hart into the barricade. Ever since Big Show put him over the top of that barricade, he's had all the momentum in this match, just grabbing the head of Hart, picking him up by the hair, by the head, and now looking for perhaps another weapon from the crowd here. Perhaps going to go for that guitar. Guitar very, very fragile, but breaking on one shot, smashing over the head of Hart. He's able to get a quick clothesline before he falls down from that damage. And a big move here. Big fallaway slam onto the steel steps. Oh my God, absolutely devastating move by Giant. Pouring that soda or beer all over the body of Bret Hart. He's been absolutely devastated with that fallaway slam onto the steel steps. As Big Show pauses for a minute thinking about what to do, Bret Hart catches him by the surprise with that kendo stick. Giant now stealing that kendo stick back. Bret Hart able to turn the momentum back into his side with that weapon usage in this hardcore match. Giant now getting whipped into the middle of the ring as Hart takes that kendo stick into the middle of the ring now. Giant able to counter that move into a big back elbow. Bret Hart with a Giant Bulldog slamming the face again. Oh my God, Show using his strength to just push away, and we got pin one. Show just pushing away that dropkick and just tossing Bret Hart like a rag doll. 1, 2, no 2, only a 1 count. Bret Hart has plenty of energy left in him so far, even though he's gone through that barricade, even though he's been tossed over the barricade, tossed into the steel pole now. Going for a sidewalk slam out of the corner. Big Show going for a pin now in the corner. 1, 2, 3. Paul Wight goes on to the Hardcore Championship match.
Well,